Every night, the empty house next door called my name, and one night, I answered. When I was 16, my family moved into a quiet neighborhood at the edge of town. The houses were old, the streets were empty after sunset, and everyone seemed to know each other. Everyone except the people who used to live in the house next to ours, because nobody talked about them. The house stood abandoned. Its windows were boarded up. Its front yard was covered in weeds. And every evening, as darkness settled in, people would walk on the opposite side of the road just to avoid passing it. At first, I thought it was just another creepy, abandoned building, until I started hearing my name. The first time happened 3 nights after we moved in. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone when I heard a faint whisper outside my window. "Daniel." I sat up. The room was silent. I checked outside. Nothing. No people, no animals, no movement, just the abandoned house staring back at me from across the fence. I convinced myself I'd imagined it. But the next night it happened again. This time louder. "Daniel." The voice sounded like it was coming directly from the empty house. I looked outside. One of the upstairs windows was uncovered. I was sure it had been boarded up before, yet now I could see darkness beyond the glass, watching, waiting. The following morning, I asked my neighbor about the house. The old woman immediately stopped smiling. "You stay away from that place." "Why?" Her hands trembled. "Some doors should remain closed." That was all she'd say. As the days passed, the whispers continued. Every night, always after midnight, always calling my name. Eventually, curiosity got the better of me. I decided to investigate. One Friday evening, I grabbed a flashlight and climbed over the fence. The closer I got to the abandoned house, the colder the air became. The weeds brushed against my legs. The front door hung slightly open, as if someone had been expecting me. I stepped inside. Dust covered everything. Broken furniture littered the floor. The smell of mold filled the air. My flashlight flickered. Then I heard it. A voice upstairs, soft, calm, calling my name. "Daniel." I froze. The sound wasn't threatening. If anything, it sounded familiar, like someone I knew, someone I trusted. Against my better judgment, I followed it. The staircase groaned beneath my feet. Each step echoed through the darkness. When I reached the second floor, the hallway stretched before me. Several doors lined the walls. One door stood open at the very end. The voice came from inside. I slowly approached. My heart pounded. The room beyond was empty, except for an old wooden chair sitting in the center. Nothing else. No person. No source of the voice. Then the door slammed shut behind me. The room plunged into darkness. I spun around. The handle wouldn't move. Something scraped across the floor, slowly, deliberately. I pointed my flashlight toward the chair. It was facing a different direction now. I knew it. I was certain it had moved. The flashlight flickered again. When it came back on, someone was sitting in the chair. A woman, her back facing me. Long black hair hung down to the floor. She wasn't there a second ago. I stumbled backward. The woman remained perfectly still, then her head twisted. Not her body, just her head, turning farther than any human neck should, until she was staring directly at me. Her eyes were completely black, and she smiled. The flashlight died. The room went dark. I heard footsteps, slow, dragging, getting closer. I pounded on the door. Nothing. The footsteps stopped inches away. I could hear breathing behind me, cold breath, right against my neck. Then a whisper. "You're not supposed to be here." The door suddenly burst open. I ran. I didn't look back. I sprinted down the stairs and out the front door. The moment I reached my yard, every light in our house turned on. My parents rushed outside. They said I'd been gone for hours, but according to my watch, only 15 minutes had passed. I never told them what happened, but things got worse, because the whispers followed me home, every night, closer than before, no longer coming from the abandoned house. Now they came from inside my bedroom, from beneath my bed, from inside my closet, from behind my bedroom door, always the same voice, always whispering, "Come back." I stopped sleeping. Dark circles formed under my eyes. My grades dropped. I felt exhausted. One night I woke up to find someone standing beside my bed. The woman. The same woman from the chair. Motionless. Watching me. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. She slowly pointed toward my window. Outside, across the fence, every window in the abandoned house glowed with light. For the first time in years. Then she whispered, "He's awake." Suddenly, dozens of silhouettes appeared behind the windows, staring at me, not moving, just watching. The woman smiled and vanished. The lights in the house went dark again. The silhouettes disappeared. The next morning, I told my parents everything. A week later, we moved away. I never returned. Years passed. Eventually, I convinced myself it had all been stress, fear, imagination, until last month. I received a letter. No return address, no stamp. Inside was a single photograph. It showed the abandoned house, but someone was standing in the upstairs window. Me, the current version of me, wearing the clothes I had on that day. On the back of the photo were 4 words. "We're still waiting, Daniel." I haven't slept since, because every night just before midnight, I hear a familiar whisper outside my bedroom window, calling my name, and it sounds closer every night. So, tell me, if an empty house called your name every night, would you ignore it or eventually answer?